Hello, everybody. It looks like anytime I do some sort of game dev stuff in a video and put it on YouTube, people seem to like it. So I thought I'd make a quick one with a tip that generally doesn't show up in game dev tutorials on YouTube. I'm going to use Godot. I've been using that lately. I have some stuff at work where my day job is at a community college, and um, I regularly teach the game development courses. This is something that I do in all of the game development courses when I teach them at a college as part of my regular year. There's two of them, an introduction and then a more advanced one. And I teach the intro in the fall and the advanced one every spring. Uh, so not random tutorials, but this is something that I like to do in those classes. Because one thing we're going to want in our games is HUDs. We're going to need that. And we're also going to do some scripting. So this is what I like to start off with. Usually the first week of a new game engine in the intro class, because we usually cover Pygame and then Game Maker, and then the half the semester is 2D and then 3D on Godot or Unity or Unreal or one of the bigger ones. And then in the advanced one, we just take one of the bigger ones and work through it the whole semester. So like the first 2 weeks of the advanced one and the first week of each section on a game engine and the intro one, we start with HUDs. We don't start with a game. We start with a HUD and do traditional business applications. So I was working on this one today when this passed through my mind. This is just a GUI for dealing with repositories. So like here's the repository, the Git repository for version control on this project itself, where I can see the different branches and jump between the history. And the reason I'm working on this one this isn't going to be an application like this. This is to debug it in 2D, and then I was going to try to make a VR application to control a Git repository, manage the repository, do the version control stuff from VR. I just thought that would be a cool interface. That seems like it would be a neat interface to try that project management stuff and version control. Here's a recent game. This is a copy of level 1 of Mario, just as I was practicing getting ready for something next week. I'm going to use the Godot thing. So on one of the branches, this went all the way to the end. The main branch I gave up on pretty quick. I guess I need to switch this over to the main branch. But this one was a fully functional game, so we can get back to all the earlier versions, and there'll be other stuff. But a fairly normal application. Usually in the classroom, it's business sort of applications, the traditional easy ones to start into a new language to quickly get the syntax, right? Payroll calculators for overtime, tip calculators, compound interest. Those little simple business applications make a great way to practice the components that will eventually be a HUD in your game and get used to a scripting thing pretty quick. Might as well mention it while I'm here. Game engines also make a great way to GUI platform. So even if you have something different, I did it here. So like this particular button, the open button there, actually just runs a Python script in the background. And that Python script has a TK interface package file dialog to choose a folder. But the point is there's an independent Python script, and the button here just runs that. So you can make your application in whatever language you want and just run it from the HUD on your game engine and use that as a GUI. This is just Git, so it's all just passing in terminal commands here. So change directory to whatever the path is. I'm doing it in PowerShell, so instead of ampersand, the modern syntax of semicolon for end instruction, and then the next line. But just passing in those PowerShell commands for the Git thing. But that passed through my mind. That's something I do. I start off with every time we look at a game engine in the game development classes at the college I teach at, where I do teach game development classes. Some traditional business applications. Start with that And it's a great way to get really good practice with the HUD that you're going to use. You're going to need you're going to want those HUD components, all the buttons and boxes and labels and things for the HUD. You're going to want those in your games eventually. And you're going to, at some point, you're going to need to practice with the scripting language. So if you put together some simple like traditional business applications, or what you would see in an introduction to programming class, those little small applications, that's a great way to get thorough practice with the syntax and all of the stuff in the scripting language you'll use for whatever language, as well as the components that will be used in your HUD for a game. Or if you just want a nice GUI for a regular application, you can write that independent in any language. And like I did here, where was that at? It was up at the top, I think. Yeah. You can just have your game engine interface run that script independently and then interact with the results from the things in the program, and then have a really nice GUI, because things that would be amazing by the standards of pretty much any GUI package built into a language are utterly trivial in a game engine. Little animations, instead of graying out your buttons, flash them red to indicate you can't do them. That would be kind of hard in a typical GUI package built into Java or Python or something. But that would be utterly trivial in a game engine. So you can, small animations, have your hamburger menus roll out slowly and then disappear slowly instead of just appearing and appearing and disappearing. What's amazing in a normal programming GUI package is often utterly trivial in a game engine. So you can make some really nice GUIs and then just run whatever program you write in another language from that GUI. But I just wanted to give that tip real quick. That's always the way I start off game engine coverage in the classes I teach, is some regular, simple, small business applications to get used to the components in the HUD and this basic syntax, and some of the built-in functions in the game engine scripting language. Just thought I would share that tip. Hope you find it useful, and thank you.